Guys, let me save you from a few regrets. The PS5's got a ton of games out there, but let's be honest, not all of them are worth your time or your money. I've played a bunch of them and picked 18 that truly do justice to the console. These aren't just good or fun for a few days, they're unforgettable experiences, the kind you'll remember for years and recommend to everyone. So enough talk, let's jump straight into the list.
1. Stellar Blade. Man, Stellar Blade completely surprised me. I thought it'd be just another flashy action game, cool combat and pretty visuals, but it's way deeper than that. You play as Eve, this fearless warrior trying to reclaim Earth from alien creatures called the Natives. At first, it feels like your typical sci-fi story, but then it starts diving into questions about faith, humanity, and what it really means to be alive. The combat? Pure perfection. Every slash, parry encounter just feels right. It's got that fast-paced, skill-based rhythm that makes every boss fight feel like an epic showdown. When you nail a perfect dodge and land a finishing combo, it's the kind of satisfaction only great action games deliver. The visuals are jaw-dropping. Futuristic ruins, glowing cities, and insane lighting effects that make you stop just to look around. Combine that with an emotional soundtrack, and you've got one of the most immersive games on PS5. Stellar Blade is beautiful, challenging, and surprisingly emotional. The kind of game that keeps you saying just one more mission until the sun comes up. 2. Metaphor ReFantazio. If you loved Persona, Metaphor ReFantazio is like stepping into a dream version of it. It's an RPG that doesn't just tell a story, it builds a whole world around your choices. You're thrown into a fantasy kingdom full of tension, corruption, and mystery, where every decision feels like it could change history. The combat is this stylish mix of strategy and flash. It's not just about mashing buttons, you actually need to think, adapt, and use your team smartly. Every encounter feels intense, and the game rewards you for being creative in battle. What really got me, though, was the atmosphere. The music, the art style, the writing, it all comes together to create something that feels truly alive. You start caring about your companions and getting lost in the political chaos of this broken world. It's deep, emotional, and beautifully strange. The kind of RPG that stays in your head long after you put down the controller. 3. Days Gone Remastered. Days Gone finally gets the love it deserves in this remastered version. This isn't just another zombie game. It's a story about loss, loyalty, and finding hope when everything's gone. You play as Deacon St. John, a drifter trying to survive and protect what's left of his world. The open road is one of my favorite parts. Riding your bike through the forests and towns of Oregon feels oddly peaceful until you hear the distant roar of a freaker horde. On PS5, it looks incredible. Smoother frame rates, richer detail, and those haunting sunsets that make you just stop and stare. The survival aspect keeps you hooked. Every bullet, every fuel drop, every upgrade matters. And when you start getting into the story, man, it hits hard. It's emotional in a way that creeps up on you. This is the kind of game you don't rush. You live in it. You fix your bike, hunt for scraps, and get lost in the melancholy beauty of its world. A slow burn masterpiece that finally runs as it was always meant to. 4. Split Fiction. Split Fiction is one of the wildest, most mind-bending games I've played in years. Imagine a story where reality keeps folding in on itself, one world grounded in truth, and another twisted by your choices. You play as someone whose memories are fractured, bouncing between two timelines that constantly reshape everything around you. The game plays with your head. Walls move, streets twist, people shift. You never feel safe or certain about what's real, and that's exactly what makes it so addictive. It's like you're solving a mystery that keeps rewriting itself. Visually, it's stunning. Surreal lighting, dreamlike cities, and sound design that makes every moment tense. Whispers, echoes, weird noises that make you turn around even when you know it's just the game. It's one of those titles that doesn't hand you answers. You have to piece it all together yourself, and that's what makes it unforgettable. It's emotional, eerie, and full of what just happened moments that'll stick with you long after you finish. 5. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Man, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 feels like playing inside a painting that's slowly breaking apart. The art direction is jaw-dropping. Every frame looks hand-painted. Every environment feels alive with color and emotion. You play as a group of people trying to defy an ancient prophecy that says the world will end when the number 33 is reached. It's weird, poetic, and totally mesmerizing. The combat is a mix of real-time and turn-based action that actually keeps you awake. It's not just press a button and watch a game. It's about timing, rhythm, and reading your enemy. And every fight feels meaningful, like you're part of this desperate struggle to rewrite fate. The storytelling is what really sticks, though. It doesn't spoon-feed you anything. You slowly piece things together through music, poetry, and the emotions of the characters. It's almost like the game feels you as much as you feel it. If you like games that make you stop and think, that stay in your head after you turn them off, this is one of those. It's hauntingly beautiful. 6. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If you've ever dreamed of living in medieval Europe, not the fantasy version with dragons, but the real one with dirt, cold nights, and people just trying to survive, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 delivers exactly that. It's raw, it's grounded, and it's unapologetically realistic. You're not some chosen hero. You're Henry, a blacksmith's son, still finding his place in a brutal, unforgiving world. Combat here isn't easy. It's weighty and deliberate, and when you swing a sword, it feels like you are the one putting in the effort. Every victory feels earned, not because your stats are high, but because you learned how to fight smart. You can't just mash buttons, you've got to think, time, and survive. The world feels alive. Villages bustle, NPCs follow daily routines, and the attention to detail is insane, from how people speak to how the landscape changes with time and weather. One moment, you're exploring a church, and the next you're sitting in a tavern with strangers who might share stories or start a fight. It's not a fast-paced experience, and that's what I love about it. The game rewards patience. It's about living, learning, and growing in a world that doesn't care if you fail. And when you finally master it, that's when it clicks. It's not just a game, it's a medieval life simulator that makes you appreciate every small win. 7. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Silent Hill 2 Remake is psychological horror done right. It's not about jump scares or cheap thrills. It's about slowly getting under your skin and staying there. You play as James Sunderland, a man who receives a letter from his wife, except she's dead. That's the hook. From the moment you step into that fog-drenched town, you know something's off, and it only gets worse. The remake completely transforms the original, while keeping its soul intact. The PS5 brings the fog, lighting, and sound design to a terrifying new level. You hear the dread before you see it. Every footstep echoes, every shadow seems alive, and every silence is deafening. But what makes this game unforgettable isn't just the horror, it's the story. It's about guilt, love, and how far people will go to hide from the truth. James isn't a traditional hero. He's broken, haunted, and painfully human. By the end, you're not just scared, you're emotionally wrecked. The remake doesn't just modernize the game, it deepens it. The visuals make the horror personal, and the atmosphere feels suffocating in the best way. This isn't a game you'd finish and move on from. It sticks with you. Long after you turn off the console, Silent Hill is still there, somewhere in the back of your mind. 8. Astro Bot. Alright, let's breathe after all that darkness, because Astro Bot is pure happiness in game form. It's one of those rare games that doesn't try to be anything it's not, it just wants you to have fun. And man, it succeeds. Astro Bot is like a celebration of everything PlayStation has ever been. Each world feels like a love letter to the console's history, full of clever nods to iconic characters and hardware. One minute you're jumping across clouds, the next you're inside a PS5 fan system, surfing through circuits, and somehow it all makes sense. What really sets it apart is how alive it feels in your hands. The DualSense controller isn't just a gimmick here, it's the heart of the experience. You can feel the rain hit, the glass crack, the metal grind. Every texture translates through vibration. It's like your hands are part of the game world. It's not just for kids either. The platforming is tight, challenging, and creative. The level design constantly surprises you with little wow moments, like hidden secrets or playful animations that make you smile no matter how old you are. Astro Bot is the kind of game that reminds you why you fell in love with gaming in the first place. No violence, no grind, no stress. Just pure, joyful creativity. It's easily one of the best PS5 exclusives, and honestly, one of the most charming games ever made.
Number 9, Ghost of Yōtei. Man, if you thought Ghost of Tsushima was beautiful, wait until you see Ghost of Yōtei. This game takes that same soul, the meditative exploration, the emotional storytelling, the razor-sharp combat, and cranks it up to 11. The snow-covered landscapes around Mount Yōtei look unreal. It's like walking through a painting where every snowflake, every gust of wind feels handcrafted. You play as a new samurai warrior dealing with the collapse of old traditions in a rapidly changing Japan, but what really hits you is the atmosphere. It's not just a game, it's a feeling. Every duel feels deeply personal, like a clash of honor and emotion. And when that music kicks in, the flute, the drums, the distant wind, it's pure art. Combat is precise and demanding, but also graceful. You can parry, dodge, and strike with a flow that feels like dance. And the stealth moments, perfectly balanced with moments of raw intensity. But what gets me every time is the storytelling. Like Tsushima, it's not about being a hero, it's about the cost of being one. You question your choices, your honor, and what you're willing to sacrifice. It's poetic, it's bloody, it's breathtaking. Ghost of Yōtei feels like a masterpiece waiting to happen.
10. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This one, it's like pure Saturday morning cartoon energy on steroids. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is one of those games that reminds you what next gen really means. The visuals are insane. It's like playing a Pixar movie at 60 frames per second. But what keeps you hooked isn't just the looks, it's the charm, the humor, and that non-stop action. Jumping through dimensions in real time without a single loading screen still blows my mind. It's not just a gimmick, it's part of the gameplay. One moment you're in a futuristic city, the next you're in a jungle, and then boom, back in a floating base surrounded by chaos. It keeps things fresh every second. The gunplay is ridiculously fun. Every weapon feels unique, wild, and completely over the top, and the DualSense makes it feel real. The adaptive triggers add personality to each weapon, and you can literally sense when you're about to unleash chaos. But beneath the humor and explosions, there's heart. The story of Ratchet and Rivet, two heroes from different dimensions trying to fix a broken world, is surprisingly emotional. It's about connection, hope, and never giving up, no matter how crazy things get. Honestly, it's impossible to play Rift Apart without smiling. It's fun, heartfelt, and visually jaw-dropping. Exactly what gaming should be.
11. God of War Ragnarök. If there's one game that defines what a 10 out of 10 looks like, it's God of War Ragnarök.
Kratos and Atreus return in a story that somehow manages to be even more emotional, intense, and massive than the last one. Every scene feels crafted with purpose. No filler, no wasted moment. The combat? Pure adrenaline. Every swing of the Leviathan axe or Blades of Chaos feels heavy and satisfying, like you're channeling raw power. But what surprises me most is how balanced it all feels. Between brutal fights, quiet emotional moments, and epic storytelling that ties Norse mythology to deep human themes. Kratos isn't just a warrior anymore. He's a father trying to do right by his son and himself. You see growth, pain, forgiveness, stuff that hits harder than any boss fight. Visually, it's a masterpiece. Every realm, from frozen Midgard to fiery Muspelheim, looks alive and handcrafted. And the soundtrack, it's honestly chilling. You feel the weight of destiny in every note. By the end, you realize Ragnarok isn't just about gods fighting gods. It's about legacy, family, and finding peace even in chaos. This game doesn't just entertain, it moves you.
12. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition. If I had to describe Horizon Forbidden West in one word, it would be breathtaking. This game is the definition of next-gen beauty. Every single frame could be a wallpaper, from glowing sunsets reflecting off metal machines to lush jungles full of life. Aloy's world feels so alive, it's almost intimidating. What makes it special isn't just the visuals, though. It's Aloy herself. She's one of those characters who feels human, strong, curious, but also flawed. And her journey across this massive open world feels meaningful every step of the way. You're not just fighting machines, you're uncovering secrets of a lost civilization and reconnecting humanity with its forgotten roots. The gameplay loop is dangerously addictive. Exploring, upgrading, hunting, and discovering ancient ruins never gets old. And the combat? Pure satisfaction. Each encounter feels like a puzzle, learning how to take down different machines using traps, arrows, and quick thinking. The Complete Edition just makes everything better. It packs in the Burning Shores expansion, which honestly adds some of the most visually insane locations I've ever seen in gaming. At the end of the day, Forbidden West isn't just a sequel, it's a love letter to adventure. It's about curiosity, courage, and the thrill of exploring a world that constantly reminds you how small and how powerful you are.
Strip him of his advantage.
13. Baldur's Gate 3. Man, Baldur's Gate 3 isn't just a game, it's a full-blown experience. You don't just play this, you live it. Every decision, every line of dialogue, every dice roll feels like it matters. It's wild how personal this game feels, even though it's technically a massive fantasy RPG. You start out as this messed up character infected with a mind flayer parasite, and from there, your story becomes whatever you want it to be. You can be a hero, a villain, a total chaotic mess, and the game reacts to that. The writing is ridiculously good, and the characters, they're unforgettable. Shadowheart, Astarion, Karlach, they all feel so alive, like real people you grow attached to. The thing is, you can spend literal hours just talking, exploring, and messing around without even doing a single main quest. It's dangerously addictive because everything feels rewarding. The world is packed with secrets and no two playthroughs are the same. And combat? It's slow, strategic, and somehow still heart-pounding. Every fight feels like solving a complex puzzle, one where one wrong move could ruin everything. What blows my mind most is how immersive it is. You start thinking like your character, caring about their fate, their choices, and when things go wrong, it hits hard. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of those games that sticks with you long after the credits roll. A true 10 out of 10.
14. The Last of Us Part 1. You know those games that remind you why storytelling in gaming matters? The Last of Us Part 1 is that game.
It's emotional, brutal, and so deeply human that it hits you in places no shooter ever could. Joel and Ellie's journey across post-apocalyptic America isn't about zombies. It's about survival, trust, and the lengths we go for the people we love. It's storytelling perfection. Every line of dialogue, every quiet moment by the campfire, every desperate fight, it all pulls you in. The PS5 version just elevates it. The lighting, the facial animations, the sound, it's insane how real it feels. You can literally see the pain in Joel's eyes or the fear in Ellie's voice. It's like watching an HBO series, except you're the one living it. But what makes it truly special is how grounded it is. The world is cruel, but the small moments, laughter, connection, compassion, make it feel hopeful. You don't just play The Last of Us, you feel it. And that ending, still one of the most talked about, debated, and unforgettable endings in gaming history. It's not just a remake, it's a masterpiece preserved for a new generation.
15. Resident Evil 4 Remake. This remake right here is how you do justice to a classic. Resident Evil 4 Remake doesn't just modernize the original, it redefines it. It keeps the spirit, the tension, the iconic one-liners like, "Where's everyone going? Bingo?" but wraps it all up in stunning visuals and tighter gameplay that make it feel fresh all over again. Leon Kennedy looks incredible here. Older, cooler, but still full of that overconfident charm that makes him so likable. And the pacing? Chef's kiss. It's a perfect balance of horror, action, and adventure. You'll be creeped out one second and blasting cultists the next. It's just pure fun. The new combat system adds depth too. You can parry, stealth kill, and upgrade your weapons in ways that make every fight feel strategic. It's not just run and shoot, it's run, dodge, stab, parry, reload, and panic. And it's awesome. What really surprised me was how emotional it gets at times. Ashley actually feels like a real person now, not just a mission objective. The chemistry between her and Leon gives the story more weight. Every location is dripping with atmosphere, from dark forests to crumbling castles. And those boss fights, still some of the best in gaming. If you've never played RE4, this remake is the way to experience it.
16. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Okay, I know Death Stranding was divisive. People either loved it or had no clue what was going on. But Death Stranding 2 on the beach, it looks like Kojima took everything that worked, added more emotion, and turned the weirdness up to 11. It's that kind of game that doesn't just tell a story. It makes you feel the loneliness, the beauty, the fragility of the world. Traversing through post-apocalyptic landscapes with that haunting soundtrack in the background is one of the most surreal experiences in gaming. You're back as Sam Porter Bridges, but this time the focus seems deeper, more emotional, more human. It's about connection again, but also about sacrifice and facing the ghosts of your past, literally and metaphorically. Visually, unreal. The environments look cinematic to the point where you sometimes just stop and stare. And the sound design, those footsteps, the rain, the wind, it's pure immersion. But what I love most is that it dares to be different. It's slow, it's reflective, it's art. It's one of those games that sticks with you, not because of constant action, but because it makes you think. Love it or hate it, Death Stranding 2 proves that games can be emotional journeys, not just entertainment.
17. Demon's Souls. Man, Demon's Souls on PS5 isn't just a remake, it's a statement. It's like Bluepoint looked at the original and said, let's make this thing legendary. And they did. This is one of the most visually jaw-dropping games on the console. I'm talking about lighting, reflections, armor details. Everything looks like a piece of art. But don't let the beauty fool you. This game will crush you.
It's brutal, it's punishing, and yet it's so strangely addictive. Every time you die, and trust me, you'll die a lot, you learn something new. You start noticing attack patterns, perfecting your timing, and that moment when you finally beat a boss that's been destroying you for hours, that rush is unmatched. There's something magical about its atmosphere too. The silence, the fog, the eerie sound design, it makes you feel completely alone, yet strangely determined. Bulletaria is hauntingly beautiful, filled with danger, but also mystery. And let's be real, Demon Souls basically started the entire Souls genre. Without it, there's no Dark Souls, no Elden Ring. Playing it on PS5 feels like paying respect to gaming history, but with modern comfort. It's not an easy game to love, but once it clicks, it's impossible to put down. It's the kind of challenge that makes you feel alive.
18. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. If there's one game that truly feels like next gen, it's Spider-Man 2. The first time I swung across New York City with both Peter and Miles, I literally had goosebumps. It's faster, smoother, and somehow more emotional than the previous two games combined. The story hits hard. It's not just about fighting villains, it's about friendship, responsibility, and what it means to be human. The Venom storyline adds this darker, more intense tone that gives the game a cinematic feel. And switching between Peter and Miles in real time, absolute genius. It makes the gameplay feel alive and unpredictable. The combat is pure chaos in the best way possible. Both characters have unique moves, gadgets, and powers that make every fight feel different. The symbiote powers are so satisfying. It's like the game wants you to feel unstoppable and then immediately humbles you with tougher enemies. But it's not just about the action. It's also about exploration. Gliding through the city, stopping crimes, listening to citizens. It's relaxing and exciting at the same time. New York feels real, with more personality than ever. It's one of those rare sequels that improves literally everything while still keeping the heart of the original. By the time the credits roll, you're not just impressed, you're emotionally drained in the best way possible. Spider-Man 2 is everything a PS5 game should be. Fast, emotional, beautiful, and unforgettable.
Alright guys, that's the list. 18 absolute bangers that prove the PS5 is still in its golden era. These games don't just pass the time, they own your time. I've laughed, cried, and nearly thrown my controller a few times, but every one of them was worth it. So tell me in the comments, which of these games do you think deserves that perfect 10 out of 10 spot? Or maybe there's one I missed that you're addicted to right now. Drop it down below, hit that like button if you felt the nostalgia, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep gaming, my friends, and don't forget to get some sleep. Maybe.